Hi, my name is Royce and I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm currently a rising sophomore at Stony Brook University and I'm enrolled in a double major in psychology and economics, but I'm looking to switch my economics major to a business major. And the financial sector is something that's always interested me. My mom works in the financial sector, so it's something that I grew up around and I grew up seeing, and it's definitely something that's always interested me. And something I think that I like about it that really sets it apart from other majors is that it's something that is happening all the time. Like, you learn about these concepts in class and how different things can affect the market and stuff like that. And you learn about these different, especially in regards to a business major, you learn about different like business concepts and stuff like that. And then you can walk out and you see it all around you in the world. You see how these different things that are happening are affecting the market. You see how these different businesses are set up. And it's something that you see all the time around you, which I think is rare for a lot of majors, and I really appreciate that. And for psychology, that's something that I became interested in over quarantine, actually, because I think it was just really interesting to see how, like, that very prolonged period of isolation, how it affected everybody so differently. And I think that's what really interested me about it, is that, especially more than with other sciences, it's something that is very personal, and it's something that is part of everybody's life, but it's something that applies to everybody so differently. And you learn about these concepts in class, and they're more broad concepts, but then in applying them to specific people, it can look so different person to person. And I think that's what really interests me about it, is that it's something that it's a science, but it's also a very personal thing, but it's variable almost. And I want to become an online consultant and tutor because I just want to help people get where they want to be, especially academically. I'm only a year removed from the college application myself, so I remember how difficult it is and how overwhelming it can be, because there's just so much information out there and there's so much to know, and it feels like there's so few resources out there, especially trustworthy resources, because you'll have the schools and the universities themselves trying to tell you things, but they're not giving you the full or honest truth. They're portraying whatever they need to portray to get as many people to apply as possible, which just makes things more difficult because they're intentionally vague. Because once they start getting specific, if they were to say, if you have below this SAT score, don't bother applying, you won't get in, then that's a lot of applications that they lose and stuff like that. So because of that, it's never really clear cut, and the whole process, everything's kind of vague, and you're never really sure what it is that they're looking for, what it is you should be doing, where you should be putting most of your emphasis, and it makes things more difficult than it has to be. And it's very overwhelming because there's just so much to know, and it's so difficult to learn any of it. But looking back, like at this point with where I am now, there's so much more that I know now than I knew when I was going through the college application process myself. And to be where I am now, I think it's something that's very important for me to take what I know and to pass that down to other people, to make the process seem a lot less daunting and scary to them, and to give them more stable footing in it, and so that they could approach, because it's a big decision, of course, to approach this decision more confidently and to go about it in the best way they can, and to put their best foot forward. Students should choose me over other alternatives because I listen and because I'm communicative. So, for example, when I'm with a student and we're making, like a detailed plan of how to put their best foot forward in getting into their dream school, I'm gonna have like a very thorough conversation about it. But more specifically, it's important to me that I'm not just telling students what to do, I'm telling them why they should do it. Because like I was saying, with something like the college application process, it's such an overwhelming thing that if I were to ask a student what their goals were and they were to tell me and I came back with a plan, even if they follow every step of the plan, if they don't know why they're doing any of it, I think it can only get them so far. So what I aim to do is to be very thorough and communicative throughout the process, so that I'm not only telling students what to do to accomplish their goals, but I'm showing them why each step of the process that I give them is helping them, how it's helping them, so that they're not just following a process to accomplish their goals, they're also gaining an understanding of the system that is very difficult to understand without somebody who has been through it. And additionally, like, given that I'm a rising sophomore now. I went through the college application process through COVID, and since COVID and quarantine, I do believe the college application process has changed drastically in ways that, these books or online articles or these consultants who haven't been through the process in years themselves just won't understand. And I think that given that I went through the college application process during that time, and that I think the effects of the changes that happened then are still in place, such as a lot of schools are going SAT optional now, where if you go online, a lot of the books are going to tell you that the SAT is the most important thing in your college application process. And a lot of schools, some schools don't even accept that at all. They refuse to look at your SAT score. So I think a lot of what you'll find in other places is just very outdated information, especially now. And I think that choosing me I would be giving you the most recent and most accurate information to the college application process right now, so that you're able to put your best foot forward. And I'm able to help students through the academic process in a lot of ways. For consulting, I want to do everything that I can to make sure students are given the best possible shot to get into whatever school that they choose to go to, which, that can include a lot of things, not limited to reviewing essays, reviewing supplementals to make sure that students are showing and not telling, and that they're writing quality essays, not only grammatically, but also they're meeting what the colleges are looking for almost in those essays, and especially in those supplementals as well. Also, it includes reviewing students' listed extracurriculars to make sure that they're presenting it in the best way they can, their grades as well, making sure that they're presenting all the information that they do have in the best way possible, and in a way that makes it look as professional and as ideal as possible. I think it's also important I can help students understand how to show schools interest, to make sure that the school is marked down that certain students are reporting interest. Just how to present themselves in the best possible way through everything that they're submitting, whether it be small stuff such as, a list of their extracurriculars, or big things like their writing. And also, I can, of course, answer any and all questions about my school, Stony Brook, whether it be about dorming, food, campus life, classes, class registration. Going here, you just get much, much, much more insight, and I can answer any questions, and I can also answer questions that students may not realize that they have, because I remember when I was going through the college application process myself, I didn't always have much to ask other than, how are the dorms? Are they nice? Are they comfortable? What's the campus life like? How rigorous are the courses? What majors are there? But there's a lot of things that I know now that I wouldn't have known to ask at the time, such as just things like what is the school's core curriculum? What are the requirements for different majors? What is the class availability? And how easy is it to get into classes, or to get into whatever dorms you're being shown? I think there's a lot of things that students may not think to ask, but that actually end up being very important, which I would be able to communicate to them, just to make sure that they're getting the full picture of where they're going. And with tutoring, it's much of the same. Coming to a new class, it could be very daunting and overwhelming, especially for first-year students. But I would be able to sit down with them, and we would go through the syllabus so that students know exactly what to expect throughout the class. I would help them schedule their time to make sure they're completing all their work as effectively and efficiently as they can be, and we can make a scheduled plan for that. Just making sure they're staying on top of everything and guiding them through any work or any studying or any test preparation that they have to do, and making sure that they're preparing in the most efficient and the most effective way possible. And any questions that they have about the coursework, I would be able to explain things to them maybe in a new way that they're not learning in class. And I would be able to clear up any misconceptions or questions about the coursework. And yeah, I look forward to getting started, and I hope you have a good day.